Yeah, it's not fair, but it's very natural, because males are genetically programmed to produce excess sperm, which gives them an advantage when it comes to fertilizing the eggs. And this has been well studied in the primates, our closest relatives. And it could be shown that the more males compete over one female, so the more promiscuous their society is, the higher the level or the rate of sperm production has to be successful. And I can show you that in a nice little graph. We have the rate of sperm production plotted over the level of promiscuity. And on the left we have the monogamous gorilla, and he only needs to produce very little sperm to be sure that the offspring that he will help raising in the end is actually his. And at the other end of the scale we have the bonobo. Now the bonobo is the most promiscuous of all species, not just the primates. They have sex with everyone all the time almost. So they have sex across age, across hierarchy, and even across gender. So don't bring a bonobo to your children's party. They use sex as a means of communication, to say hello, to say goodbye, to start a fight, to make up for a fight, to talk about the weather, to bitch about the neighbors, and to discuss the price of massage. And if you want to live that lifestyle, you have to have an alarming rate of sperm production, which we can see. Now the interesting question here is for the lads in the room, how do we compare to our closest relatives? Socially, we're monogamous, so we're somewhere on the left-hand side of that scale. But our level of sperm production is that of the bonobo. So we're up there. And this suggests that our own mating system, our own sexual behavior, not too long ago, was far more promiscuous than it is today. And simply evolution hasn't caught on. So basically we have a choice now. We can either wait for 20,000 years until evolution catches up with this and gives us smaller testicles basically, or we can enjoy it while it lasts.
Guys, 20,000 years is a long time. I mean, I might not even be alive then. So I suggest what we do is we take this information, we learn from Dr. Maggio, learn from the animals, put that in our own lives, and basically get in touch with our own inner perverts now while we still can. Talk to Dr. Maggio. He said he'd share some special stories with you to help you guys release your inner perverts. All you have to do is ask. So on the count of 3, everybody say, release my inner pervert. 1, 2, 3. Release my inner pervert.
Okay. But we're doing it in a very positive way. There's a couple of things you have to do if you want to release your inner pervert, and I advise you not to do it, not to try it on your own, because it might lead to social isolation. So, you know, we are experts and we're going to help you with it. But we want to learn from the animals again. So, brought you a couple of animals to learn from. First, we have to get our mind into the right frame. So, the first animal is for the boys, and it's all about commitment. You have to fully commit to the good cause of copulation. And when we talk commitment, there's no animal like the duck. Male ducks are the only family of birds that have an external penis. And they make sure that they put that to very good use. They copulate on land, underwater, and sometimes in mid-air. And there's a very well documented case of aerial pursuit where a male mallard pursued another male duck. The hunted panicked, who wouldn't, flew straight into a window, broke his neck, slid off dead. Now the hunter took the ensuing lack of resistance as a sign of consent and went about his business for an hour and a half.
Guys, you might not respect the morals of the duck, but you do, you have to respect his stamina.
Okay, and here's one for the girls. It's for the girls. Basically, it's about not being too shy, but you know, not too shy either. Sorry. Do you know how there's sometimes a fine line between pleasure and pain? In hedgehog sex, that line is constantly crossed. And the female can no longer tell those two feelings apart. So if she wants to pleasure herself, what she does is she inserts a stick into her vagina and then starts rolling around the floor, waiting for that extra kick when the stick hits the ground.
There's something you take home with you, girls.
You also have to be willing to make sacrifice. And this takes us to the story of the American Redback Spider here. You see that little black dot? That's the male sitting on the female. She's about 100 times larger than him. Yet, when it comes to copulation, his testicles swell up to a size that's comparable to her genitalia. You know, he's literally left with 2 watermelons dangling between his legs. And that's just as well, because otherwise it would be like throwing the proverbial sausage up the autobahn. But the problem is that he can no longer move, but he has to catch the female. So what he does is he surgically removes one of his testicles by spinning a silk thread, wrapping it around the testicle, pulling it tight, piercing the scalp of the scrotum and sucking out all the sperm. You don't know what it tastes like. Don't be so judgmental. He then twists off the deflated sac, casts it aside, runs after the female, and when he catches up with her, he shimmies up the hairy leg and thrusts the remaining testicle into her epigyneum, which is a Greek word for lady garden. Now it's her turn to pierce the scalp of his scrotum, suck out all the sperm, then suck out all the sperm that's still left within him, and leave him there hanging for death. It's comedy. Okay. Now we've got our mind into the right frame to be a good pervert, master perverts. The next step you have to take is you have to become physically fit enough to live the life of a pervert. And that takes us to the lion. The lion is the king of the animals, we all know that. But the lioness is the queen of animal sex. She can mate 100 times for 3 days running with no sleep. 100 times a day for 3 days running. But he can't. So the males have to take turns. And so unlike most people in the UK, the lioness actually enjoys her 5 a day. And that cheesy joke finishes that little lecture on how to become a master pervert.
Guys, now you know the tricks of the trade in releasing your inner perverts, and I hope I know you were laughing and stuff and it was a bit mad today, but I hope you learned stuff and you took stuff home with you. I mean, we learned that animals are whores. It would suck to be a duck. The next time you autofellate yourself, try it upside down. My friend says it's great. Girls, be more like the lions. Guys, be more direct. Be more direct, but that doesn't mean you can just proudly present yourself willy-nilly to the first girl you see. You gotta, it's like comedy. It's all about good timing, which me and Maggio have mastered. Guys, you've learned from the Redback Spider, if you are in a relationship, there's always room for you to give just that little bit more. Guys, I'd like to end on something positive, basically, because it's all about sex here. But basically, none of us would be here today if it wasn't for sex. None of us would exist. Sex is the greatest experience in life. To hold a beautiful woman in your arms as she gets lost in an uncontrolled dance of passion. To feel her spasms of ecstasy, to taste the warm sweat upon her trembling lips while her eyes beam love, truth and joy. That is the greatest experience in life. That and telling your mates you got laid. And showing them the videos you made of you and her going at it to the sound of "You and me, baby, ain't nothing but friends." Guys, thanks very much. That's our last show. We're speed mating, but by the way, none of this would have happened. You were a great audience, you really were. William was a hero. Alex and his 4-year-old girlfriend. You know what I mean. And Sarah, without you would have no one clapping. Guys, you're all equally perverted, and you should be proud of yourselves. But none of this would have happened if it wasn't for my friend all the way from Germany, Dr. Maggio.
All about your sexual human guinea pig, Aidan Killian!
We really hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, whatever. And I don't know, have a great festival, have a great life, and goodbye. See yous. Yeah, we were awesome.